Conservation Commission meeting for May the 22nd, 2025. As a commission, we operate under the Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Chapter 26 of the Town of Danvers General Bylaw, the Wetlands Protection Bylaw. After each applicant presents his or her request and the board has had time to ask questions and discuss the project, we will accept questions from the audience. Because this is a public meeting, it is required by law that you give your name and your address before you speak. Although we may disagree with the issues raised, all persons present during this meeting are expected to be civil to all of the meeting attendees. This includes members of the commission, staff, abutters, concerned citizens, property owners, and project applicants. We also request that you confine your questions to the project and only as it pertains to the Wetlands Act. We cannot handle, nor do we have jurisdiction over matters such as noise or traffic. All problems not related to the Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Danvers Wetlands Protection Bylaw must be taken up with other appropriate boards. First order of business tonight would be a roll call. Peter Wilson is here. Lorraine Drapek. Mary Height.
Here.
And Michael Splain.
Yeah.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance for the Beaver Brooks Woods subdivision, also known as the Colantoni Drive, DEP file number 14-1330. The applicant is Beaver Brook Woods LLC.
Good evening. For the record, John Moran from the Moran Cameron Group. We're here tonight representing Beaver Brook Woods LLC for a certificate of compliance request for Colantoni Drive, which was Beaver Brook Woods subdivision, DEP file number 14-1330. The commission may recall an order of conditions was issued back in October of 2019 for the development of a subdivision roadway. This order of conditions was associated with the road, drainage associated with the road, and the commission may recall there was a small wetland filling proposed and approved by the commission and an associated replication area. The project was built. We've performed an as-built that was submitted to the town. Danvers Engineering has signed off on everything, and LEC has submitted a report with regards to the wetland replication area. They oversaw the installation. That was submitted with the COC request. The plants are all doing well. We're happy to report that the actual wetland filling was slightly less than what was approved, and the wetland replication area was slightly larger than what was approved. So we're here tonight to certify, and in the letter that we submitted, that the site was completed in substantial compliance with the order, and we are here to answer any questions. And we're requesting a certificate of compliance.
Okay, I noticed that this street was approved at the town meeting the other night.
Yes.
What would have been the ramifications if the town meeting had not, or if we don't approve of this project?
If it hadn't been accepted on Monday evening, then it would kind of depend on the reasons, and that might have put off issuing the certificate of compliance. If it was ruled that some of this work wasn't done yet, then we wouldn't have been able to close this out tonight.
Okay, but everything you've seen, it's been done
Yes.
according to
Yep.
plan.
Everything looks great. Engineering has signed off on it and given it its blessing. So no concerns from our end of
Okay,
things.
good. And there's still individual lots that have open orders of conditions?
Yes, there are 2 individual lots that have open orders, and those are open until they expire in March of 2026. So they still have some time left on those lots.
Is that because there's nothing going on those lots, or?
I know there was a Permit Extension Act that was granted at the end of 2024 that those lots fell into a window where they got some additional time for their permits.
Yeah, those lots are currently under construction, so
Yeah.
they're not final graded yet because the houses aren't finished yet.
Yeah.
What about, I think it was lot 8? It's the one just past the replication area?
Yeah, that house is actually complete. The landscaping
Is
out
there an
back,
Is there an open order of conditions for that?
is the order still open on 8?
Yes. Oh, sorry, you're asking John. Yes.
So the order's still open. I believe the backyard is still under construction, so that's within the commission's jurisdiction, so they wouldn't be submitting a certificate of compliance request until that's completed.
That wouldn't be our responsibility.
Yeah, it would be the homeowners at this point. The lot was
I'm just
sold.
looking at the big picture. That's a a touchy area, this whole project, so I want everything done right. Okay, that's what I have for questions. Mike, do you have any questions?
No.
Mary?
I'm good.
Okay, and just, we just know that we want to see the other open order conditions at some point.
Yes,
'Cause
absolutely.
We'll be at 3 years, is almost up.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
26? Okay, if someone can make a motion?
I make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for Colin Tony Drive, DEP number 141330, with conditions numbers 38, 39, 48, 50, 58, 68, 74, 75, 80, and 81, in perpetuity per the order of conditions. Do I have a second?
Is there a
Second.
second?
I second.
Before we vote, I just want to call particular attention to condition number 39, where pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and fertilizers shall not be used within 100 feet of the wetlands. So there's several lots in this subdivision. I know we're just approving the road, but there's several lots in the subdivision that are within 100 feet of the wetlands, and we want to make sure that no fertilizer, pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides are used there.
To that point, what kind of signage are we putting out there?
The signage that was required here was just no salt zone signage on the roadway, but I did check the other open orders, and they have that same condition in them about no pesticides, fungicides within 100 feet. So every property on there that was within the wetlands had that same condition.
How many properties would you say that is? Is that a good amount?
There's 2 that are still open, so those are the ones that I looked at, but I can check the other ones too, double check on that.
Okay.
What are the two that we're showing open?
Lot 6 and Lot 8.
Lot 6 is under construction? Is that the,
Lot 6 is built, sold, lived in, and the landscape.
which is the one that they waited to last to build in?
Lot 7,
7.
which is technically 10 Colin Tony Drive. That was the one that we had to wait for easement to get.
And you got that out of the riverfront area?
Yeah, wherever.
Okay. Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Notice of intent for 2 Ipswich River Road, DEP file number 14-1436. The applicant is Derek Botari.
Good evening, Jay Polakowitz with Hancock Associates. I'm representing the applicant in their after-the-fact notice of intent for an addition within a 100-foot buffer zone to wetlands. Emily, do you mind pulling up my plan?
Could you speak up a little?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's the plan here. Do you mind zooming out a little bit?
Of course.
So on the bottom side of the plan is Ipswich River Road. On the left side is 114. To the left of the house and above the house is BVW. The house is near the center of the lot with the addition right there. Do you mind pulling up those pictures I sent you to?
Yep. Bear with me 1 second here. Sorry, it just takes a quick sec to bounce around here.
No problem. Okay, so this is the pre-construction condition. This is an older photo. I found it from an old Zillow ad, essentially. Where this deck is, so there was an existing deck there. No, do you mind going to the next one? The deck was in need of replacement and was replaced generally in kind. During that time, this addition was built. The addition is built as if it's a deck. It's on sonotubes. It's, there's no foundation. Essentially, the deck was closed in on 3 walls and a small roof area was added to it. It was at this time that an enforcement order was given to the homeowner, and we were hired to help them out with the notice of intent process.
Excuse me, just 1 second. What level was the deck?
So the deck was multi-tiered. existing, you can go back, yeah. So,
Okay, now I
It
see.
goes up to where the awning is.
yeah, so that lower section of deck is where
I
that,
see at the lower level, it's in the shadow, I can see the railing there.
yeah, so that's where that addition was built. And do you mind going back to my plan again, sorry?
Yeah, no, that's okay.
And there was no excavation to build this? It was built on existing sonotubes?
I'll have to double check
Doubt
that.
that.
I'd have to assume that it was new sonotubes.
They were. I'm sorry, Derek Batari, 2 Ipswich River Road, I'm sorry.
You have to go up.
Yep.
Yep, just go up and introduce
Sorry.
yourself.
Good evening, Derek Batari from 2 Ipswich River Road. They did do new sonic tubes. And if I can give you a quick background, I know that Jay's doing a great presentation. I hired a contractor because it needed to be replaced. The contractor said to me, if you don't change the footing, you won't need a permit. Unfortunately, he was wrong, and we have separated ways. I found out that you still do need permits and still do need to come in front of the commission and everything. I relied on his expertise, or lack of, if you will, and that's why I wasn't here before him. But once I found out, I met with Emily, I hired Hancock Associates. I hope they're doing everything correctly, because if they're not, I'm relying on their expertise. So I apologize, I wasn't here at the beginning. I relied on bad information. But
When
yes.
was that built?
So it's not being built, it's still, this is the way you saw the photos, we stopped everything because number one, we have to, but more importantly, I don't have a contractor because I don't trust them. Yes, sir.
When was the original deck built?
Oh, what, with the house, 1987. Yes, 1987.
And Emily, does that predate our wetlands bylaws?
There was a filing back then, back in, I think, 1987 or 86, for the construction of the home through Concom, and that was all signed off on and closed out, and they got the appropriate building permits
So
at
it
that
must
time.
have been, because I don't think we had the 35-foot no build.
Oh, yeah, at that time, no, the
We
regs were
Right.
different.
And that's probably where the contractor was coming from. He was thinking if you didn't have to build, but once you're in that area, you've got to come and ask us.
Well, he explained that to me, yes. I won't be doing any more work.
Okay, good.
Yep, so just going off of, Derek brought us in to help us out with to help him out with the NOI. So with this, you guys do now have a 30-foot no build zone, a 50-foot, 30-foot no disturb zone, 50-foot buffer zone. This addition does fall within both of those zones. Most of this site is within the 50-foot and 30-foot zones. The existing house is within the 50-foot zone.
As soon as you can we zoom in so we can get a better idea of the work at hand?
Yeah.
And the entire property is within the 100-foot buffer zone to wetlands.
Right.
Let me know when you're set here.
That's good. That's
Okay.
fine. That's right.
So to help mitigate any sort of stormwater flows that are going to flow off of this new roof structure, we have proposed a crushed stone drip edge, essentially an infiltration trench next to the base of the addition. This will collect any roof water and it'll promote infiltration. It's sized to cut down on peak rates of runoff and peak volumes of runoff, so it's meeting the stormwater standards. And because this is within the 30-foot and 50-foot zones, we do need to request a waiver. Per the Concom's regulations, there's a disturbance allowable of 6,372 square feet. This addition's 324 feet. It's significantly less than that. And we did receive some comments from DEP. So the house and the addition are outside of the flood zone per current flood zone mapping. Later in 2025, FEMA plans to come out with new mapping. Right now it's preliminary, and we are showing the preliminary flood zone on our plan. The addition does fall within that flood zone. However, where this addition was built like a deck, we are not filling any of that flood zone, so we don't need to replicate it. Where the existing deck had sonotubes and support posts, there's no change in volume between pre-construction and post-construction. So I don't know if we want to go back to the pictures again of the built deck.
So in terms of the stormwater permitting, Are you saying you were exempt from flood zone regulation because you're above ground?
So the first floor elevation of the addition is over 1 foot above the flood elevation. So we're above it. In that area that's below the deck, it's covered in a skirting board, but it's built like a deck. It's, hollow. There's no foundation walls
So
blocking it.
below the windows, there's nothing solid back there?
No.
That's just,
That's just covered, sir.
No.
It's just a plastic.
Yeah. And so,
Let me
oops, sorry.
interrupt for 1 second, please. The revised flood levels, where are they going to be on this?
So here, I'll show you on the picture, just how it relates to the plan. Essentially, at about that elevation, I'm just assuming using our plan. But so with this skirting board, it really won't stop any flooding waters. It's just a thin PVC material. However, in our latest plan revision, we did call out for flood openings within this, which meet the flood zone performance standards, which is for every 1 square foot of wall within a flood zone, you need to provide an opening equal to 1 square inch of that square foot. So we're proposing a flood opening on this wall that you see, and then on the right side. So if there are any floodwaters to come up, they can flow in and out from under that area.
if the water comes down from left to right, below the stairs that I see going up, and does it, I can't see that part, but is there a wall there, or what's there?
So it's just, again, the skirting board.
Another skirting board?
Yeah, so it's essentially a deck that has it, you would see lattice a lot of the time.
But do you want the water to pass through under that?
It will. It's not into the ground. There's probably an inch or two of separation.
There is, Jason.
Yeah.
There's a gap there.
Yeah, okay.
I think the bigger concern is the Ipswich River, isn't it?
Yeah, so the flood zone starts on the right side and works its way left. So in terms of flooding with those openings, the water would be able to flood in and then flood out. That's the concept of it.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, Mike, did you have any other question?
Same footprint, right, as the deck? Correct?
sir.
Yeah. No, that's it.
What I envisioned, I'm sorry, one last time, Derek Batari
That's
again.
fine. Don't.
What I asked him was, aside from replacing the wood that was there from 1987, just enclose the bottom deck. That's all I asked for, but make it a non-conforming room. There's no heat, no electricity, nothing like that. We didn't want any of that, because I don't want an addition to my house. I know everyone's using the term addition. I just said enclose it so I don't get eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I wanted to do,
Yeah.
so, but it's been a nightmare since I got the enforcement notice. But, yeah, so there's a gap over here, the same wall, the white comes to that side, but there's a gap so water can go down that way. And this is all open here, so the water can come out this way as well. Sorry. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
All set then, Mike?
Yeah, thank you.
Mary, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Is there any public comment or questions?
What's the cost of the work?
Associated with what we're proposing or everything in total?
Not your fee, but what the,
Or I was just saying, the work that I am proposing to make this compliant or what's been done so far?
well, I mean, the whole thing, I mean, do we need a bond for this? I don't know.
So the crushed stone infiltration trench that we're proposing, it's what did we size it at? It's a 30-inch wide, 24-inch deep trench, just basically a hole in the ground that you fill the crushed stone. That's not a very big expense with it. We're proposing some straw wattle erosion control for when that excavation is done. It's very, in terms of what this probably costs to get to this point, is very minimal cost.
Yeah, but now he's got to build it, right?
Yeah, he's got to finish it and install that.
And he's up in the air about how he's going to do that right now, or?
He's,
Once, I get all the approvals
approval.
I'm sorry, please just come to the microphone whenever you're speaking. Sorry, just so that people can hear you
No
and it gets
worries.
recorded correctly. Thank you.
Once I get all the approvals and work with the inspector, because the inspector would come after this, yes, there's a gentleman that is a contractor, but right now, I haven't hired him. I don't want to hire anyone yet. I mean, it needs to be completed, yes. I haven't even gone that far. This has been going on since last June, when they tore it down, and I haven't gone to the point yet of getting someone on board, but I have someone in mind. I just haven't signed any contract with them to do any work yet.
All right, there was excavation performed, right, to do the sonotubes?
So yes, they dug, yes.
And that was all within the 35? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, it looks like that would have
So
been.
there's
within
that
35.
disturbance in there. So I mean, I'd be in favor of a bond too, just to make sure that that is all done correctly and tidied up.
What would be an appropriate amount, which we don't want to be punitive, but if,
Right, I mean, I think like $1,000 bond is typically what we would see for a project like this.
And that would cover the cost of just making sure that,
Yeah.
well, 1,000, he could put up a cash bond, right?
Well, we wouldn't, the bonds get handled directly through homeowners insurance. We don't handle them with the town anymore. But we would
Yeah.
just need the documentation once it's been set up.
Is 1,000 enough?
I mean, you could do like 1,500 if you wanted to for a project like this.
how's the applicant, do you have any?
I'm not sure what a bond is, sir. I'm
I mean, if you don't complete the work, the money's there from the bond.
Oh, I see what
Get
you're
it done.
saying. Oh, the work has to be complete. I can't leave it like this, so, yeah.
50, we'll say 15, I'd like to see a bond for 1,500, that's not a lot.
No, absolutely not. And if it's just to make sure the work gets done, oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, it's going to get done because I have to look at this.
Yeah, I
This is
can see it's
exactly.
not your fault,
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand, but.
No, that's
Still, that is in a
perfectly-
no disturb.
I'm perfectly fine with that because I know it will get done. It's just ugly to look at. But yes, 1,500, that's reasonable.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, so are we all set, the board and the public?
Yes.
All right, so we have a number of votes to make on this particular item. The first is a motion to close the public hearing. If someone can make a motion, please.
I move that we close the public hearing for 2 Ipswich Road, DEP file number 14-1436, applicant Derek Potari.
Is there
I
a
second the oh, you want to go?
No, go.
I second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next up, we need to grant a waiver, and why don't we attach the bond as part of that language?
Yeah, I move that we grant a waiver to allow work to be done within the 35, 50-foot, the no disturb, no build zone pursuant to the project that has been submitted in connection with this notice of intent, that as a condition, the applicant, before he commences any further work, will post a bond in the amount of $1,500.
Okay, you kind of covered both. Can
Yep.
we vote on both of them
Yep, that's
together?
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so waivers are granted for both the work in the 35 and the 50. And finally, we need a motion to issue an order. of
Move that
conditions.
we issue an order of conditions to allow the applicant to construct the addition at 2 Ipswich River Road, DEP file number 14-1436, with the applicant using, well, are we going to have an issue with putting socks around the area? Or it's all dug already,
Erosion
right?
controls? No, it won't be a problem. The erosion controls are on the plan. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it won't be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the plan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any other conditions you
Just,
want to add?
no, it doesn't look like, no, there really isn't.
Mary? any-
No, I'm
no,
good.
okay.
Thank you, though.
Okay, is there a second?
I second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good.
Thank you, have a nice
Luck.
night.
Next up is 3 LeBlanc Drive. The applicants are John Michael and Amanda Pizzi. And are you representing yourselves?
Yes, tonight, yeah. We hired Bill Emanuel, but he couldn't be here.
Okay, is he joining us online, or he's not going to make it at all?
He's not gonna make it tonight, no. He's the environmentalist that we hired.
Oh, good for you, getting up here and presenting your case.
Thank you. John Michael Peasy, 3 LeBlanc Drive. Me and my wife, Amanda, we come before the Conservation Commission tonight to apply for a waiver as 35 feet of fence falls, I think it's falls within the 35, the no disturb. The fence is needed because we're having a pool built, which has been already moved to accommodate for the wetlands. Like I said, we have worked with environmentalist Bill Emanuel, who has advised us of the minimal impact on the environment as no trees are involved and it's a pretty clear area. The fence is being installed along the existing grass line, and we are also prepared to add 100 square feet of pollinated bee garden flowers as an upgrade. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Emily, can you see where the lines are, the 35 and the 50s?
Yeah, so
Yep.
can you see my mouse up there? So the 35 is this light blue line along here. Can you guys see my mouse on the
Yeah,
screen?
yeah.
Okay, great. And then the 50 is this other green dashed line outside of it. And then the fence line is this red along here, along the woods.
So the fence borders on the 35, but it crosses through the 50, is that?
Yes, yeah, the fence line is totally within the 50, so they don't need there's no work proposed in the 35. It's all, they would just need a waiver for the 50.
The amount of work in the 50s, is it just the fence or also part of the pool as well?
Just the fence.
Just the fence?
And the
That's
concrete-
There's an existing
brings to the
fence to that from my neighbor that we're, attaching eventually, continuing, basically.
And the pool deck is outside of the 50, is that
Yes,
correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah,
can
just
zoom in on that.
outside, yeah.
so here's the pool.
What size is your pool? Is that an in-ground?
Yeah, 16 by 32, yeah. Steel liner type.
Is there any other work going on in connection with the pool? Patios?
Basically, the patio, if you could see, it extends about, they got 5 feet, but I think we're gonna go with 4 feet of hardscape, just some patio blocks.
Uh-huh.
And then there'll be, you can see the 16 by 16, that could be, that's the sit-in patio. The equipment pad actually is not gonna be where this drawing shows. It's actually gonna be against the house, so, and that's
The equipment pad being
the mechanical, yeah.
Pump and such?
just the recommendation that can you have those plans changed?
Yes,
Where
yeah,
conditions is issued? Just-
sure, yeah.
Just saves you some possible trouble down the road when you come back and you want just.
Sure, yeah.
That's the only change?
Yeah, that's the only change. I did,
And
you know.
you're gonna
like,
narrow the
I've mentioned-
walkway a little? Yeah.
What was that again?
You said you were gonna narrow the patio walkway around?
Just the patio
by a
around the
foot?
pool, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's more what the hardscaping company kinda is in favor for, but from what I heard, I can do just the 4 feet.
Do we, Emily, do we have any regulation about the water, about as far as when they pump out?
Yes, there is a condition of draining it. I believe that it's let it
Below
sit
the
idle.
skimmer,
Yeah, skim it and
a
then let
week.
it sit idle for, I believe it's 48 hours. I would have to check before any water can be
The
released
chlorine
without any
issue?
chemicals added to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so we put that in as a stock condition for all pool work.
Yeah, I was told a week to leave,
Oh, okay.
no chlorine, and then the filter is not capable of backwashing, but if the pool ever had to be drained, it would be to the front lawn. And
But you have to let the pool sit and let the chlorine evaporate, correct?
Yeah, yep, yeah, let it
A
sit with
minimum
no
of 2
chemicals added in
days.
for a certain amount of time before any drainage can happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, Mary, have any questions? I'm good. You're all set? Is there any public questions or comments? Hearing none. Okay, so our first order of business, we have to close the public hearing. Someone can make a motion to that.
I make a motion to close the public hearing for 2 Ipswich River Road, DEP
Wait,
number.
I'm sorry, we're on the Blank Drive.
What is it?
We're on the Blank Drive.
Blank Drive.
Oh,
number
my
3.
bad, my
Sorry.
bad. Sorry about that. Hold on a minute. I make a motion to close the public hearing for 3 LeBlanc Drive, DEP number 14-1437.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to issue a waiver to allow work in the 50-foot no-build zone for 3 LeBlanc Drive, DEP number 14-1437. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hey, it's my job.
Oh, sorry,
That's his
my bad.
job.
I was trying to help out.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
And you ask for the second as well.
Yeah, my bad. I make a motion to issue an order of conditions for 3 LeBlanc Drive, DEP number 14-1437, with additional conditions as discussed.
Did we
So,
really hone in
spell
on any
out-
conditions?
Well, the condition
The
as to the
mechanical.
chlorine issue, and the condition as to changes that you've just talked about, that
Yep.
you change the plan before you start the work,
Correct.
to show what you intend.
Yeah.
Is that all right? Yeah?
Yep, and I'll talk to Bill Manuel too. I noted those changes. I can get in touch with him directly to get that noted on the final plan for you. Of
Thank you very much, Emma.
course.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
I second.
I third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next up is 24 through 42 Cherry Hill Drive. And this is a Danvers Conservation Commission file 2025-01. And the applicant is Abiomed. And I guess they are all with us remotely tonight.
Yes, yep, and so just give me one.
We're on screen. Thank
Yes.
you very much. My name is Mike Fabiano. I'm with High Point Engineering. My personal address is 31 Wheeler Circle down here in Canton, Massachusetts. On behalf of Abiomed, we are here tonight before you and on the screen too, just so I can make introductions to the other initials on screen. Dean Russell is the architect of record from CI Design, and Mike Hood is the facilities manager at Abiomed. We've been before you before in the past for several projects. But for tonight, we're in front of you to speak about a request for determination of applicability for a project located at 2442 Cherry Hill Drive. Emily, if you don't mind, there's one of the plans, unless I can share my screen, one of the plans, the PDF, is the cover sheet to the site plan packages to orientate the commission to the project.
Sure, absolutely. So just give me 1 second, I'll pull that one up, because I have the preliminary plan, and then I also have the exhibit. So are you looking for the preliminary plan?
The preliminary plan, I think, has the first page has like the aerial with the hatched off area just to orientate the commission to the project. Maybe zoom in on the color right there. So so it's 24, Abiomed controls and owns 2 buildings on Cherry Hill Drive. The large rectangle building is 22. The project we're proposing is located at the 2442 Cherry Hill Drive address. Basically, there's a limited site improvement project, including of a facade improvement that's going around the 2442 building in different locations. We were advised, we met with Emily, and were advised that she thought, we agreed that an RDA was appropriate for the type of work that is being proposed. So we have filed that application. The DPW and engineering department have reviewed. There's a stormwater permit that's requested since this is a commercial project. So a stormwater permit is going to be filed tomorrow morning. And we also filed a waiver for work to be conducted in the 35 and 50-foot buffer zones. So I can explain the project. Emily, if you wouldn't mind moving to the color plan, the RDA exhibit. Thank you very much. I'll kind of run around the kind of top left clockwise around the zones. The top left, so in color, the green area is the wetland resource area, whether it be the stream channel that kind of bifurcates the 22 to 2442 areas on site. There's a drainage channel that runs left to right through the property that drains a wetland resource area to the back and moves that water over to Cherry Hill Drive. And then the back left-hand corner, there's a large wetland area where water comes off the airport property, moves around the property through that stream channel. So the green area is the wetland resource area. The red line is the 35 no disturb zone. The 50-foot is the orange line, and the yellow line is the 100-foot buffer zone. So the left-hand side, the top left-hand corner of the screen is a patio improvement project. With most of this project that you see before you, really all of it is tied to either moving people around through sidewalk work or improving culture with the growth of the company and producing some outdoor amenity space for AbbeyMed employees. There's no building expansion that's being proposed, but all the work is site work that's tied to more or less concrete flat work and pervious pavers and whatnot. So the upper left-hand corner is a pervious paver patio area where you can see most of the work being proposed is outside of the 50-foot zone, but inside the 100-foot buffer zone. There's some limited work that's being proposed in between the 35 and 50. And then very little work that's being proposed inside the 35-foot zone. This area is all area that's previously disturbed and improved on the AbbeyMed campus. There's a driveway, that's the service driveway that moves both passenger vehicles as well as the trucking service from Cherry Hill Drive to the rear, going into the service court area. So all this work is being proposed is above that service driveway in a grass area that is in between the curb and the building. The middle screen inset, this is in the back area
Can you
of
hold up for a
the
sec?
building.
Excuse me,
Yes.
could we just take a step back and just see where all this proposed work is on the overview picture you have,
The
the two
overview? Sure.
buildings?
Sure. I don't know if I can, I don't think I can point on the screen, but basically so as you orientate to the area that's hatched, in the front of the 2442 building, where just below where your cursor is, Emily, if you go to the bottom side of that building, keep on going down, this is where that patio is being proposed in that grass area. Basically right there in that green area is where the patio is being proposed. So there's the building, there's a grass knoll where the patio is being proposed, there's a service driveway that moves the vehicles, that's bifurcating this project from the resource area. No work is being proposed on the downside of the service driveway that is adjacent to the resource area. So all the work is above the pavement area. There's work being proposed all the way to the end of the building. If you move your cursor all the way to the left, there's currently a driveway ramp that exists out there to the right in that corner of the building. That's being modified into a staircase with pervious pavers with a walkway. If the commission recalls, there was a pedestrian bridge that was proposed, approved, and constructed that crosses the resource area. There's basically associates that work at AbbeyMed that are moving between the 22 Cherry Hill Drive address, the building to the bottom of the screen, and this building located at 2442. So this new staircase and walkway is being proposed in order to make it easier for people to move over that bridge that was previously approved and constructed to get into the building. And then there's a small sidewalk project that's on the north side of the building, closer to the airport, where we're just removing a sidewalk, and it happens to be in the buffer zone. So maybe if we go back to the RDA exhibit, thank you. And maybe zoom out a little bit so the commission can see the whole plan. Thank you. So the left exhibit, the left inset, the top left-hand corner is the patio area. That's in the front of the building. That's in that grassy area. The middle inset is the walkway that kind of connects the pedestrian corridor that comes across the pedestrian bridge to get into the back corner of the building. We're proposing that small pervious paver sidewalk with a small staircase that's removing the ramp structure that's there today. The small purple rectangle on the upper right-hand side is in the rear of the building. It's located in the buffer zone, but we're removing a sidewalk and replacing it with grass in that grass area. And then the lower two insets are also part of the project, but all the work being conducted in these areas are outside of the 100-foot buffer zone, but still on the campus and part of the project. We just wanted to show what the work was and how it related to resource areas. Before I move on to the commission has any questions, since that's
Why
more or
don't
less
you, complete your presentation, and then we'll answer
Okay,
questions.
thank you. Thank you. So I think the intent of our submission as a request or a negative determination is based on the fact that we believe that the limited amount of site work that is being proposed within resource areas, but in previously disturbed areas, as it's separated by pavement and driveway access, and the nature of the work, that it was appropriate to request a determination of applicability versus a notice of intent. We have subsequently submitted the waiver request for that limited work that you see in the 35-foot zone and 50-foot zone. And just recently, we were advised that the DPW and engineering department were requesting a stormwater permit based on the applicability of this being a commercial project. So we are planning on submitting that permit application tomorrow for the stormwater permit. So with that kind of concludes my presentation. Be happy to answer any questions and seek that the commission finds in favor of a negative determination. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Mike, any questions?
Yeah, before I do, so Emily, they're looking for a negative determination of applicability, but they're also looking for waivers?
Yes, so
So
because.
how do, it just seems incongruent that we're saying it doesn't apply, but then we have to grant waivers, so in a sense.
Right, so we do have to grant a waiver because some of the work that they're going to be doing is within those buffer zones. However, they're actually creating more pervious surface, so they're
Yeah,
improving the areas, and they aren't going into, there's not going to be any further disturbance beyond what already exists there. So that's where the waivers are needed, but we didn't think that it hit the level where a full notice of intent would be needed, because there's no further disturbance that is being requested, and no further disturbance would be approved with
all right,
this.
so, first question, so why are you doing this?
The reason why the project is being proposed is that Abimed as a company is in a growth stage. There is a need to provide additional amenity space for the employees of the company. They're, over time with the purchase of the 2442 building, they are taking over more space. Prior, that was a leased building with other users, and it now is becoming more of a Abimed space. From the last couple of years, there's been continuous improvement with the property. Use the word culture because it's really tied to amenity, and the purpose of this project is to provide better amenity space for employees. As Abimed starts to hire, there is and they've been hiring, there's a need to provide, better amenity space. There's improvements that are going on inside the buildings, but this project, you can see on for this project and what's on the screen, the two left insets, the patio area on the upper left-hand side and the patio area on the bottom left-hand side are basically outdoor amenity spaces for the employees that work at Abimed. The other improvements are basically people moving improvements that are part of the overall facade improvement to improve ADA compliance in and around the property and just make it a better walking experience as Abimed employees move between 22 and 4242 back and forth.
So make it more attractive for prospective employees and existing employees. But it seems to me 2 or 3 years ago, maybe longer, you were going to do a project which was, I think, stations with challenges, I think different stations. Did that ever get done?
That did. That got built and has been used many times.
Or did get
No,
built?
there was, all right.
It did.
But there was another project out bordering on the.
Out through the woods, like, there were
Yeah, I
different...
remember that one now, that did get built, but there was another one, if we went back, it bordered.
There was another one that it was there was a project that was proposed that was on the hill, closer to the airport. It was gonna be it was gonna be an outdoor amenity space that was, it wasn't a shed complex, it was basically gonna be a meeting space in the outdoor area, but what ended up happening was, not ownership, but leadership changed inside of Abimed, and the vision of what amenity space meant for the company, just, it was modified over time. So that project it brought all the way up to the point where it was about to be constructed, and then leadership had a change of position about what they thought was important and where they were spending their dollars, and that project was abandoned.
Yeah, so...
But the leadership training course, sorry to interrupt, the leadership training course, that was there was circulation around the 2442 building, and then there was a leadership training course that was on the other side of the wetland system in the woods. Recall that was also a determination, a request for determination of applicability, where that was very successful. It was a great construction project, very little disturbance, and was highly, the project was a success, both in construction and in the usability of that course.
And that was closed out?
That, the closed out,
As in
constructed?
a certificate of compliance was obtained?
It was a negative determination of applicability, so there wasn't order conditions
So it
imposed.
seems like Abiomed's good to their employees, which is nice. Is the work you're doing, are you going into newer areas of the 35 or the 50, or are you staying within the existing areas but just reducing the impervious?
We are staying in existing improved areas and not creating any new further disturbance in the 35-foot zone. I mean, we can zoom in a little bit if you'd like, but you can kind of tell on the top left-hand side of the screen where the red line is, which is the 35-foot. There's existing curb line that's out there, so there's no site work that's of disturbance that's in between the 35 and the green jurisdictional line. The middle inset that's in the back side of the property, what you see is below the red line is striping that's on pavement. Basically, it's painted compliant striping to have pedestrians navigate over the pavement, so no disturbance on the on the grass area. The existing sidewalk that's in the grass area that's inside that disturbance was part of an application that was before you a year or two ago. That was part of the bridge application to that's already previously completed. And then all the other work that's proposed is outside. The purple rectangle on the upper right-hand corner is an existing sidewalk that's being removed and being replaced just by grass. Removing impervious and creating additional pervious.
I have no further...
And that's on the outer boundary of the 100-foot buffer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Mary, any questions?
good.
You all set? Is there any questions from the public? Mr. Bradstreet?
Bill Bradstreet, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 1. I know there's a lot of work done at Cherry Hill. There was a piece of property up there that I recall there was an issue with a stone wall that had to be moved. I'm not sure if it's this site or not. Can you remember anything like that?
That doesn't sound familiar.
How far back, Bill?
I don't know.
No.
My memory only goes so far, sorry.
Well,
I
does the
just remember-
applicant
Except
know
for little
about it?
fragments.
There was a stone wall, I don't know for sure. There was a stone wall that was in the middle of the woods, that was closer to the airport, that was, I think it might have been in the 100-foot buffer zone, that was out there, but there's no work was ever completed in that area. So that this project does not propose anything in that area, and that project never proceeded. So the only thing I think about stone wall wise was that. The only other stone wall that's was ever part of any Abimed submission was the stone wall that separates the Abimed property that's on the furthest western side over where the leadership training course is in the woods, and the property that's adjacent. And there was an existing stone wall that was back there. There's a pathway that went out into that area, and there was no work done to the stone wall. There was no modification. There was no disturbance. It just was an existing stone wall that was part of a discussion, as I recall. That was probably like, I don't know, 5 years ago.
So the stone walls are still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
That answers my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Now we're talking about, I do remember the stone wall. Anything else? No? Okay, my question is, say if we do issue a negative determination of applicability, yet grant waivers for work in the 25, and the 35 and the 50s, where is our assurance that this work is done properly and,
Good question. What control do we have at that point?
Sure, so you can still put conditions on negative determination, so you could put in something like a 6-month progress reports and check-ins with Conservation Commission if you want to do that, for updates on the project. And we'll be going out regularly just as part of our routine
But if
site
they're
visits
not
too.
doing what we want and we've issued a negative determination, what
recourse?
powers do we have then?
I mean, if they aren't following the plan, then they're in violation of the approved work associated with the plan. So then that could be an enforcement order.
You could issue an
I-
enforcement order on a negative determination?
I believe so, because it's still doing work that wasn't approved by the Conservation Commission. So we could ask the applicant to come in and come before the board and discuss what's being done outside of approval, and then say, now we need a full notice of intent
Are
to resume the
you,
work and
are you
finish it.
certain of that, Emily, or do you want to check
I
on
need
that?
to, I would need to double check on that, but I do think that we still have some leverage, and there could be a condition of check-ins and guarantees that the work is going according to plan.
I kind of want some assurance.
Okay.
So I'm kind of thinking that we ought to continue until we find out, just what the ramifications are if the work is not done properly.
Okay.
Or they
You mean,
could choose to.
you mean when we issue a negative determination?
could just go
What
with-
leverage do we have left?
Or they
is
could
what
just
you're
go through
saying.
an order of conditions. So it's up to,
In other words, can we revoke that? Well,
Can you revoke the negative?
yeah, we can't. Or can we?
I don't think so.
Well, you know
I
what?
could double check.
Those are
this.
good questions, because we don't always see this, but I mean, are you planning on starting your project next week?
The work is ready to commence pretty soon. I don't know if it's next week, but it's in the next few weeks.
How about?
So it's a building, so if I may, if the commission would entertain my, some discussion on this matter, the commission and the town has authority, as the authority having jurisdiction in this buffer zone, so whether it's a determination of applicability or a notice of intent, if we're reporting on it and the commission feels through the building department or the commission that something wrong is happening, there could be a stop work. I mean, it's just, I think the commission has the authority to do that along the way. We have no problem making reporting on a weekly basis to give a comfort level, through Emily's attention, through the board's review and our submission of reporting, that the work is in complete compliance with all the rules and regulations.
Yeah, well, notwithstanding what you're saying,
you have authority.
we want to continue for 2 weeks, because we're not sure.
yeah, we just want Emily to check just to see what we have to fall back on if it's not done properly. So why don't we just, we're going to vote to continue, if the board agrees.
You okay with that?
Doesn't matter.
It's 2 weeks.
I don't know if if, Dean, you're online, I'm not too sure what the schedule is and how that may be impacted. I mean, 2 weeks, I don't know that is a significant problem. I mean, it's at the will of the commission.
If I may speak up, this is Mike Hood from Abumed.
Hi.
The 2 weeks is not going to impact us. We're fine with the 2
Okay.
weeks.
Okay,
There you go.
all right.
Good.
Thank you, Mike.
So if someone can make a motion to continue this to our, when's our next meeting?
June 12th.
June 12th? Go ahead, Mary. So just,
I don't know what to say.
go ahead, Mike.
All right, I'll make a motion to continue the applicant's request for a determination of non-applicability to our next meeting, which is June 12th,
Yes, yep.
so that we can obtain some further information as to the effect of the determination on our ability to oversee and compel the work.
Is there a second?
Second motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we'll continue.
Thank you for
until
your understanding.
Okay.
June 12th.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Have a good
Okay.
evening.
Old or new business, to be honest, I've not read the minutes from May 8th.
I haven't either.
So we will not be able to vote on
Okay,
those.
no problem.
Is there any other business? How are we doing recruiting a new member? I know Mike's been active and,
Yes, yep, so I have been emailing with that woman. She said she does want a little more time, a few more weeks to think about it and see if she can really commit to it before she comes on.
I spoke with her at town meeting.
Yes,
yeah,
yep.
And I think she's, almost there.
Yeah, almost there, so, but we're still actively searching. Yep,
Yeah.
actively out.
All right.
Actively doing outreach.
okay, good.
Okay,
Have we have a motion to adjourn?
I second the motion.
well,
Oh, do I have to?
you have to make the motion.
I'm not doing it. I make a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Second it, Mike?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay,
all right.
good enough. Thank you, guys.
And my
we
wife
need
got
to-
elected vice president